Hello from Brussels. In a bizarre turn of events, the city has been all sun and no clouds, installing a sunny atmosphere for the several working parties on the environment that took place this week. The European Parliament has confirmed the plenary vote schedule for the Renewable Energy Directive to the 12th of September and delayed the committee vote for the Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation to October. At FEAD, we've been busy welcoming Paolo Campanella in his new role as Secretary-General for the Association as of the 1st of September. Congratulations! Save the date! FEAD is organizing a conference on PFAS in the waste sector at Ecomundo on the 8th of November. Join us for this exciting event. Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation. On the 7th of September, the negotiating team in the ENVI committee started working on the proposition for a compromise agreement by the rapporteur, Frédéric Ries, Renew, Belgium. This proposition, published by Context, proposes to reduce to 85%, instead of the 90% proposed by the Commission, the separate collection rate that member states must demonstrate in order to be exempted from the obligation to introduce doctors by 2029. The Parliament vote has been pushed back by a month according to Context. Initially scheduled for the 20th of September, it will now take place the 23rd and the 24th of October. The plenary vote is now planned for the week of the 20th of November. End-of-life vehicles regulation. Following the presentation of the Commission's proposal on circularity requirements for vehicle design and on management of end-of-life vehicles, the proposal was sent to both the European Parliament and the Council for examination. The ENVI committee has now been confirmed by the European Parliament as the lead committee responsible for the file. Moreover, the committee has appointed MEP Jens Giesecke, EPP, Germany, as the rapporteur responsible to prepare the draft report, which will contain amendments to the Commission's proposal. The ENVI shadow rapporteurs are expected to be appointed in the coming weeks. Critical Raw Materials Report approved. On the 7th of September, MEPs of the ITRE Committee adopted the report on CRM with a majority, 53 in favour to 1 and 5 abstentions. The plenary vote has been planned for the 14th of September and the deadline for the tabling of amendments is scheduled for the 11th of September. Eco-design for sustainability of products regulation. Negotiations have begun since the 31st of August and will continue until the next political trilogue, scheduled for the 10th of October. A third trilogue is planned for the 4th of December to reach an agreement on the file. Construction products regulation revision. The next trilogue concerning CPR has been scheduled for the 24th of October. As of the 6th of September, technical discussions have begun once more. Waste shipment regulation revision. A second trilogue on the rules of waste exportation has been fixed to the 21st of September. The negotiations on the revision of the rules concerning the exportation of waste began in June. Hydrogen. The Commission fixed the price of the maximal amount for the compensation of production of renewable hydrogen to €4.5 per kilo. This amount has been fixed in the rules of the sale of hydrogen and published on the 30th of August in the Bank of Hydrogen. According to the Commission, the sale will start the 23rd of November. Green Deal. On the 5th of September, the European Commission published Maro's Efovi and Wok Hoekstra's mission letters. Both men are set to replace Frans Timmermans. Efovi is now tasked with the Green Deal whereas Hoekstra has been nominated for the role of EU Commissioner for Climate Action. Hoekstra's nomination has to be approved by the European Parliament and is still seen by many as controversial. Classification, labelling and packaging of chemical substances and mixtures regulation. On the 11th of September, the ENVI committee will vote on the CLP regulation. The amendments, published by Context, maintains the proposition by the Commission to classify and label substances with multiples components. The plenary vote will take place in October. Renewable Energy Directive Amendment. The European Parliament is scheduled to discuss the provisional agreement reached in trilogues in June and vote on it on the 12th of September. If the agreement is adopted, it will be the European Parliament's first reading position on the file. Net Zero Industry Act. Context published a compromise agreement that conserves the general objective of the Commission text, which is to achieve an industrial capacity covering at least 40% of the EU's annual needs for the deployment of net zero technologies by 2030. However, it adds that this capacity must cover at least 25% of global demand for these technologies, heat pumps, electrolyzers, wind turbines, etc., and extends the target to components, materials, and machines essential to their production. The negotiators at Parliament also defined the selection criteria for strategic projects. The vote on this file in the ITRE committee may be moved from the 12th of October to the 25th of October because of the slow progress made during discussions between the different political groups. The plenary vote is scheduled for November. European Sustainability Reporting Standards Regulation adopted. ESRS, EFRAG and GRI published today a joint statement on the level of interoperability achieved between the European Sustainability Reporting Standards, ESRS, and the GRI standards. The efforts made by the GRI and EFRAG sustainability reporting teams will prevent the need for double reporting by companies. Soil Monitoring Directive. The European Commission will present its legislative proposal to ENVI on the 11th of September. Martin Hojsík, Renew, Slovakia, will head the work on the file in the European Parliament. Ľudmila Novák, Slovenia, will be the shadow rapporteur for PPE, Beatrice Kovacsi, Italy, for the Social Democrats and Anna Zalewska, Poland, for the CRE and Petros Kokkalis, Greece, for the Left. Energy Taxation Directive. The Commission does not intend to completely review the impact assessment of ETD. Before the summer break, the negotiating team requested a new impact study in order to take into account the effects of the revision of the carbon market and the war in Ukraine as well as COVID, and suspended its work whilst waiting for said study. The Commission, however, seems reluctant to comply. Temporary Crisis and Transition Framework, TCTF. In a letter sent by the Director General of the European Commission Competition DG, it was stated that state aid in the face of soaring energy prices due to the war in Ukraine should not be prolonged after the end 2023. In its latest revision of the TCTF, the Commission plans to accept up to €4 million in aid per company affected by rising gas and electricity prices. Eco-Design for Telephones Directive. On the 31st of August, the delegated regulation was published in the official journal. The text will come into effect on the 20th of June, 2025, allowing a transitional period. This text fixes a series of requirements that manufacturers of phones and tablets have to conform to reinforce the sustainability, recyclability, and reliability of their products. Plastic Pollution Treaty. On the 4th of September, the President of the Intergovernmental Committee of Negotiation, Gustavo Mezzaquadra, Peru, published the zero draft he redacted. States are invited to comment this draft before the negotiations planned from the 13th to the 19th of November, in Kenya. Gas regulation. The Commission has proposed to include the goal of an annual production of 35 billion cubic meters of biomethane in the gas regulation. Proposals have been sent to negotiators of the Parliament and the Council, which Context has obtained. Chemical recycling. The European Investment Fund, EIF, has signed a $50 million in Dutch venture called Infinity Recycling Circular Plastics Fund. This fund aims to support and encourage chemical recycling. Air pollution. According to a study made by the Energy Policy Institute at the University of Chicago and published the 29th of August through AFP, pollution is more damaging to health than tobacco or alcohol. The study considers it the greatest threat to global health. This was FEAD's audio newsletter, Episode 1. Thank you for joining us.